Hey, so you want to play a game?
Hey Ryan, did you watch the new Saw movie?
I saw a movie called Jigsaw.
That's the new Saw movie.
That makes so much sense.
It's Jigsaw 2017.
I just went to go see a movie called Jigsaw. I had
Yeah.
no idea it was Saw 8.
Eight. The eighth Saw movie. 8. We're talking about Jigsaw today.
Hey, go listen to our podcast where we talk about the other 7 Saw films.
It's only close to 4 hours?
Yeah.
It's like well past north of 3 because
Yeah.
that's how you tell time is cardinal directions. North of 3 hours. That makes no sense, right?
So, it's been how long since the last one? Like 10 years?
10 years.
Long time.
No, 7 years.
7 years.
But in the movie,
7
they
years
say-
since Saw 7?
Yes. No, since Saw 3D, the final chapter. That's why it's not Saw 8.
Right.
It's a new book.
Right.
Chapter 1, Jigsaw, 2017. Saw 8. We went and saw Saw 8. I watched it today. You saw it.
I saw it I saw it 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Okay, so we're pretty fresh. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have spoilers. If you didn't watch it, don't go watch it. We'll tell you what happens. If you want to watch it first, then go watch it and come back.
I will say that you don't really need to have seen the other 7 Saw films. If for whatever reason you wanted to watch this.
There's one key thing I think you need to know, but
it's not like we'll talk about it.
we're going to talk about Jigsaw today. So, to start off with, the 5-word review on Jigsaw 2017.
I'm Jigsaw 27. That's only 3 words.
What's your 5-word
Well, it's
review?
2 words and a number.
My 5-word review is, it was a movie. Okay?
That was 4 words.
Okay was the last word.
Oh, okay. It was a Saw movie.
Damn it, you beat me to it. That was a better one. It's serviceable.
Yeah, you got to judge
Okay,
everything.
wait. If you're a Saw fan, it does literally everything the other Saw movies do, which is...
That's not true, though.
It looks newer. It doesn't look like the other movies. What?
No, that's a plus.
You're right, but I'm saying that
But some people don't like that. I've heard people complain that this one, they hate that it says it's just lit like a TV show.
that's what
Like
it is.
overlit.
That's what it was. It felt very like, I mean, all of them take place on sets.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's like, here's a set. Not I mean like a movie set, but I mean like,
All the movies.
it's like an escape room. Like, here's a set. You know, it's a elaborate setup. See the word set up? Yeah. This one does feel like a TV show set versus a movie location.
As a person who hated the green aesthetic of the entire franchise, I thought this was a nice breath of fresh air. So,
Yeah, but it was replaced with brown.
it was more of a
Brown and
glowy
blue.
kind of.
No, brown and then like in one
Then some blue. You're right.
brown
yeah.
here and then over here all light blue.
Right. Why are these motherfuckers talking about colors so much?
A lot of, did you know when you read The Great Gatsby, colors mean a lot.
It represents nothing.
Nothing
Does
at all.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It represents, whoa, bro, it's fucked up shit, dude. It's green.
So, I don't know the box office totals right now, but from what I can tell,
It did okay.
it seemed
Especially
like
up against, what was it up against? There was something that made all the money.
all the money.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was
I thought
number.
something came out.
It was number 1 at the box office with $16 million, I think.
Okay. I thought it was something else.
I mean, I guess you think like, oh, these movies make so much money, and like it's a $1 billion franchise by now because of 7 movies. Each one's made at least over $100 million for the most part. But that's like internationally, worldwide. I think when you actually look at like the domestic ones, they're not as they're profitable. They're not as explosive like Diarrhea. As you would think when you actually look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think about this franchise. It's explosive diarrhea.
Okay. I thought maybe that was just the word you thought of when you hear the word explosive.
No.
Just your brain immediately.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's not like it's this series is
Some people really like these.
okay.
But in a very, I will say, I think in an ironic fashion.
They're entertaining, if a little I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, but it's not convoluted, a little rote maybe, but it's just the same thing over and over
Convoluted
again.
is absolutely the word.
Yes, but that's not what is like appealing to it. Like okay.
For some people, it is though. They like that.
That's
how
what I'm
fucking-
saying.
And they try to guess like, well, what's the twist they're gonna do? And they try to guess everything, you know. And it's more of like a drinking game fascination with it than it is you know, an actual like being thrilled by it.
I mean, more like, okay, so every movie's gonna have this like, here's the new kill, the death scene, or not death scene, but like, here's the new trap, right? And that's supposed to be the appealing part. Is like, what kind of crazy trap do we create? But you get to a point where each one's so ridiculous, they're no longer interesting. You know what I mean? Like, if each one's ridiculous, you have to do something different. Not just a new trap or a more elaborate trap. You need to do something different with how the traps are done. And this doesn't really change anything at all.
Some of the stuff I thought was okay.
Regardless, as a series, it's fun to watch. But when you get back like the heart of it, you're like, I'm not watching anything new.
No,
No, not just this movie. I mean, like after the second movie, you're like, oh, they're just going to do the same thing.
It's formulaic as fuck.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I would be interested in having something that's completely like, you know, toss a wrench into it and do something a little different. Maybe?
Right, which is funny for how much we're just going to be talking about the series all the time instead of the podcast, but how much it actually does permutate, right? In terms of like Jigsaw, the actual character, I forgot it, John Kramer.
Yeah.
Is dead by the third movie. So, it changes a lot, but the actual movies don't change at all. They're the exact same like formula every fucking movie. This one is no different.
But like, you know how you go like,
It's the same exact thing.
Like torture porn's like a genre. It's like Hostel and Saw and stuff like that in a way.
Right, but Saw, there is a Saw genre that is specific.
That's what I'm saying. It's very specific to itself. If you don't hit these notes,
right,
it's, you know, you could still have a Saw movie if you didn't do the recap. So if you didn't do the voice and the puppet, you could still have a Saw movie. But they're so caught up in their own bullshit that they have to do the exact. You know, it's like what they'd be like, oh, Star Wars, you have to have lightsabers,
right?
And you have to have.
You gotta have a SWAT team. Gotta have your.
Oh, you gotta have a SWAT team.
You're gonna have your like hardcore investigators.
But that's like, it's okay. It's just that you don't need to do the recap anymore. You don't need to do the puppet. I mean, I guess you do because they need to sell Halloween costumes and toys.
This was a big puppet.
Yeah,
it's the biggest it ever was.
I mean, does it still need to be on cassette tapes? Do they still need to be using cassette tapes?
Well, you see,
right?
That's part of the
the
twist.
The
twist. So open.
Okay, I guess I'm just talking in circles here, but really, what it comes down to is that the guys who directed this one,
the
Spierig brothers, are new to that franchise, but they've made some interesting movies in Australia. So I had a little hope that it was going to be someone else's take on the series, and it's just nope.
My hope was, especially in the trailer, that it would be more fun. And I do think this movie was having a little bit more fun, but it still was so constrained to the Saw formula that I'm like, it's a bummer. It almost felt like it wanted, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe this was like a paid gig, you know, just like take the paycheck kind of thing, because it was probably a good gig for them. These guys did Daybreakers, which it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember being a very imaginative, fun science fiction horror film.
And Undead, which is a really like
another
small
I don't know if it's good. I don't know.
Was it a triple shotgun?
But imaginative and fun.
Yes. It's like a zombie.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this hillbilly guy running around shooting
it's been a long
traps
time.
And stuff. Yeah. It seemed like it was kind of having fun. The characters were cracking jokes sometimes, I guess.
Okay, I'll say the difference between this movie and the rest of them, there's very little gore.
There's some gore.
Very little compared. Okay, think about.
Yeah, but when it's there, it's pretty.
Think about like put your hand in the saw and you know their hands cut all the way down.
There's less victims. So that's the first thing, right?
Okay, but even the first victim,
we're cutting down the body count to literally like 5 or something.
Okay, one person gets like hit by some saw blades and you don't see the. Well, you do later on. There's a pause twist
right,
there.
But the morgue, the autopsy scene is very like that's pretty. Not gory,
but it's an autopsy. They're not okay, and I'm not complaining there wasn't enough gore. It just for being a formulaic movie with the same stuff they had. You know, one person they're just hanging from a bridge.
Right.
The second person they just they find her. They said, oh, she jumped off the building. Like, oh no, she didn't. You see her die.
Her face is pretty mangled.
they inject her with like an acid, and she just bleeds out her eye and her ear a little bit, and then it kind of blood comes out. It doesn't.
Maybe they're trying to do a tasteful saw this time.
What else? Some guy gets cut up like in a swirly saw machine.
Yeah.
But you don't really see. You kind of just see it like out of focus and close to the camera.
Right.
And the camera's in focus to the guy in the back. And then later on, you see him like kind of swing down on a rope, but it's like
They
Predator
were
2.
trying to get away from the gore porn a little.
And I'm
bit this
okay,
time.
but it's like, but isn't this Saw?
Right.
The first victim, it's like his head was like cut off, but you don't see it get cut off. You just see the cool prosthetic they made of half of a head.
The last kill is showing off.
The shotgun?
The lasers.
Oh, stupid.
But it was
Yeah, but
clearly showing off, though.
That is more Saw. That
Yeah.
is what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
That was some Resident Evil 4 Magini.
Yeah, it was. But
Head
it was kind of like,
busting
really trying to top it. Like, you haven't seen this shit yet.
And to say that the most gruesome one was all CGI.
Yeah.
What does that tell you, right? That kind of sucks. So,
Let me tell you this. Let's start here.
okay. I want to enjoying the series. Not that they're good, just like I can kind of get something out of them.
Yeah, but I want to try to be able to deliver a review to somebody that.
This is the worst movie I think of the series.
I don't think that's true.
Because it doesn't have the same grittiness the other ones had. It's a little too clean.
For the purposes really
I don't mean
into the grit, you're missing out here.
But I don't mean clean as in not enough blood. I mean like it's shot really soft.
So it depends on what you're trying to get out of this. If you really are like into the aesthetic of Saw,
The green light.
the grittiness, as you mentioned, the grossness of it.
There's no rust.
It's not. It's not that. This is a pretty like, Is it antiseptic? What's the fucking word?
Antiseptic.
Antiseptic movie.
It's like a Listerine movie.
Yeah.
This movie could be on HBO. Or sorry, this could have been like an HBO show, like Showtime.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't even seem like a full theatrical.
The whole movie series to me strikes me as like bad television. So, but
television or whatever.
So also, if you're into Saw for the convoluted plot, you're also going to be disappointed.
Yes, I thought you were going to say, oh, that's
No, because actually, so this was my hope was one of two things. This was either going to be, as a person who's not a Saw fan, I thought maybe they'll do something different finally. Like maybe it'll be like a proper reboot, and like I don't know what they're gonna do, but like maybe this will finally take it into some new territory, which it did not. So my secondary hope was, well, I've watched all these fucking things,
right?
So I hope it's as a Saw as fuck movie as like, so like what are they gonna do? How are they gonna continue the story? What crazy fucking thing are they gonna do?
Actually, the number one reason why I would not have seen this movie in theaters had it not been that we wanted to. We've already seen the rest of them, and we knew that we would do a discussion on it on camera or whatever.
I absolutely would not see this if it wasn't.
But for now that I'd seen them, and I was like, I really want to know where the story's, which is stupid. I want to know about the plot of Jigsaw, but I want to know what's the deal with Kramer.
But it's
what's
also
the deal
like
with
you're in on it. You get to be part of the club now, so you get to go and be like, holy shit, they brought back Fuckface from, like.
But they even say, like, he's been dead for 10 years. How's the game going? I'm like, I want to know.
Right.
And then he shows up, and you're like, how is this happening? But then you immediately in your mind, like, I think I already know what the twist is. And of course, we'll get to the twist part. It was, disappointing.
It was disappointing to me because it wasn't stupid and crazy as it needed to be.
It was too simple.
Yeah.
It was, but this way, Jigsaw's still dead.
Yeah,
he didn't come back from the dead.
John Kramer's still dead.
Yeah, it's just another person doing.
We did say spoilers, so.
Well, obviously. But this also throws a wrench into, like, it retcons so much. Each one of those always retcons the one before, but this retcons it even more because now the guy that was, like, Jigsaw is 10 years since he's been dead. That means this guy was working with Jigsaw when he was alive.
So somebody said this thing on Twitter that, how about the movie where these apprentices, like, run into each other? Like, the acolytes. Because he's like, how many of these he fucking had? He's had the guy from this movie. He's had Carrie Elways. He's had Hoffman. He's had...
Anna?
I forget her name.
There's a girl named Anna in this one.
I forget what her name is. The druggie
one, yeah.
What is that, 5?
Amanda.
And then... I don't remember if there was anybody. Oh,
no, Lloyd.
And the guy, the hospital orderly.
Yeah, Zepp.
Right. So was that 5, 6?
Something like that.
And there's just like none of them, you know what I mean? Like, I guess a couple of them knew each other throughout the movies.
Oh, throughout. Oh, it's like most of them were dead.
Right. But like this guy was the original, right? This guy was like this guy was the first acolyte.
They show him building the head mask,
right?
Which I guess probably would have been used on Amanda. Whatever. Yeah. It just
But there's no mention of him in the rest of the fucking movies, which is like.
And then there's no mention in this one of Robin Hood or Carrie Elway.
That's the big disappointment.
Dr. Gordon, Lawrence Gordon, something like that.
I don't
Gordon,
remember.
yeah, the guy from the first movie who comes back in the seventh
Carrie
movie.
Elway's chewing up the scenery as like the main bad guy in this movie is my secondary hope or
Right.
Or hoping but he's nowhere to be found because he's like, I'm fucking done with this franchise. All right, I guess, do we want to talk about the movie? Like, what?
Yeah, I guess.
Sure.
I
Okay.
took some notes when I was in the theaters.
I mean, it's pretty fresh in my head. I think I can.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's
I
not,
took some notes,
again,
but
it's
I
not
always
very
forget.
complicated. It's a pretty not convoluted, not complicated movie,
So,
which is a surprise for a Saw film.
The first thing that really happens in this movie is that you're doing the dual. Something's happening here, and something's always happening here, and you're watching two movies, or two plots at the same time, kind of back and forth.
Well, not until he presses the button. Sorry, I didn't know what you were going to say. I stepped on you.
Okay, so like you open with, well, I don't know if you open the movie with, but you have 5 people in a trap.
No, is that how I thought it opens with the police chase?
It does. Okay, but I was gonna say not opens with, but you have your first like 5 people in a test chamber, right? And one of them is, you're led to believe, gets killed because it's like, oh, they all go through the room and he doesn't make it through the room. And then the scene after that is that supposedly that guy hanging off of a bridge, right? So that story is happening, but then you also have the story you're talking about, which is.
Well, I say you don't know that those are two stories. So
That's what I'm saying. It's you're watching two stories concurrently, but they're not concurrent.
You're getting to the twist that recontextualizes the whole movie.
Yeah, but this is also just kind of like most of the other Saws, where you're watching two stories side by side.
I think you gotta like okay.
But they're trying to trick you to thinking that they're happening at the same time, but one happened 10 years
and that's
before.
Because the way it's going. So you have a police chase where they're chasing after a guy, and he's like, "Leave me alone!" and he's got a remote trigger thing. And he's like, I'm in the game. I'm in the game. You don't understand. Like, I don't want to die. And he presses the button, and a bomb doesn't go off or anything like that. You cut to
a game starting.
Yeah. And that's what like the timer starts.
And he says like 5 people have to whatever, and then
you're gonna give a little bit of blood, whatever. It's a fucking Saw game. Like, he starts the Saw game. So you naturally assume that because that guy pressed the trigger, that's what has started the game.
Yes,
I just want to contextualize that.
Yes,
so what you're saying is that now you see two things. You see the whole movie cuts between the game that's taking place in a farmhouse,
which is literally the plot of like 5 or 6, where they had 5, because 5 had 5 people. 5 was 5 people going through one at a time, and kind of like one dying.
Right.
While there was a story going on where they're trying to find whatever, and then they kind of meet up at the end.
Yeah. So there's a police procedural.
But every one of these movies has always been like, it already happened. You were watching videotape. You
right.
know? And this one is literally like,
that's literally the movie. But
they're a decade apart.
Yeah.
The game took place 10 years before what you're watching. But it's weird because the bodies that show up
are just it's one of those like, move along.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of
like those are like other victims.
Okay, so what happened? I remember now. What happens? This is all part of the twist. And it's kind of.
I guess it is kind of convoluted.
Because what happens is you watch these 5 people go through the whole movie. They go through the thing, and then nobody makes it out of this one. You find out near the end, like, nope, all 5 of them die basically. And the bodies that you're seeing show up in the public. The guy hanging from a bridge, the girl jumping off the hospital. I don't remember the third one. They found in the closet. That was another game of 5 people, actually only 3 people, doing the exact same.
But we didn't even see that.
We didn't even get to,
that all happens off screen.
You see it during the twist. John Kramer gets 5 people, does a thing.
It's like his first game.
Yeah, and 5 of them die. Well, except for one of them that he felt bad for.
So okay.
It's so much story.
I'm going to go to bat for Jigsaw a little bit here.
Let me just finish this thought, though. Jigsaw gets 5 people, does a thing.
Do you talk about the movie chronologically, or are you talking about it the way it is?
Right. He does the 5 people thing. All 5 of them die. One of them doesn't, but all 5 of them get through, and no one comes out, basically. The one that does survive becomes his apprentice. So those 5 are done. Throughout the movie, you're watching those 5.
Right. You're watching a flashback.
Yes. But in the current timeline, you're seeing the dead ones from that game of 5, but it's not really from that game. It's from a literal recreation by the guy who survived the first one, doing the exact same thing 10 years later because he wants to see if he's as good as John Kramer was.
Yeah.
So he does the exact same thing.
Wait, did I miss that? So wait, are the actors that are playing through the game? Oh, that's the flashback, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the recreation?
But during the twist part, the twist sequence, the montage, he shows
different actors.
3 different, because it's supposed to be 5, but he goes, I only did 3.
I know. I thought you said this time the game was 3 because it was you, me, and
the other 3. It was the 3 people that were in the.
This is so fucking boring. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But if you've seen it, it's funny to follow along. There's 3 people instead of 5 in the current time that he goes to the traps. That those 3 die.
Right.
Instead of having 5, it was 3. Because the other 2 that are part of the game are himself, which is not because he's lying.
Right.
And his detective.
But did they show an additional 3 actors?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
For about 2 seconds.
Okay.
He showed them dying.
So there's 2 whole different sets of games that are the exact same game.
Yes.
With different actors.
Yes.
That are different characters.
That you don't actually see other than for 1 or 2 seconds.
But you only see one of them that have a 10... This is so fucking dumb. That's so bad. Why did he just... He could... Literally, this is... Okay. Literally, the guy...
I know it and hear what's happening, but I mean, when you...
What is he? He's a forensic... He's not a mortician. What do you call him?
He's like a medical examiner.
Okay. So literally, the medical examiner set up these traps because he knew he was in a movie.
Yeah.
He wanted the audience to know. I'm trying to think about this psychologically. Why did he actually recreate?
He says it during the twist. He says, like, I wanted to test myself to see if I was as good as Jigsaw, I guess.
All right.
So I did the exact same thing to see if I could do it too, as good as he did it.
If he could set the traps up again.
Yeah.
Everybody to do the same things again, because he really knows human nature, right? Because if you know human nature,
you can do anything.
Everybody does it. Okay. All right then.
Just don't put your arm up on the seat. It's a
Sorry.
stupid thing. So, yeah. Not only that did he set up all that shit a second time, he hires an apprentice, a girl who goes through residency to become also a body cutter upper person. She's a medical examiner, but she could have been the chief of the morgue at Chicago or whatever. Yeah. She is obsessed with Jigsaw.
Which is kind of interesting.
It was. As a fan, like she's like, I'm on the internet looking at all the Jigsaw conspiracies, like all the stuff that I've been. Okay. She has like a museum. She calls it her studio.
Yeah.
It's in a fucking like meat packing warehouse.
Right.
Out in the middle of nowhere in a manufacturing plant. Is that a museum where she recreated them, or did she like find them and buy them?
It makes you realize that if you ever ask yourself, how the fuck does John Kramer? John Kramer must be a gazillionaire. Look at all this property he owns. He can do all these things, but wherever they live, it must be just like, hey, Joe Schmo, medical examiner can do it too.
I'm wondering, like, is she a collector or is she a?
She bought all that shit on eBay.
But are they replicas or are they the real thing?
No, she rebuilt the. She had got
one of
the
them.
Plans.
She said one of them. She said.
I don't know. I just took it as like that's it. She's got the reverse bear trap.
Yeah.
Face thing.
She has her studio is full of all the traps from the movies, but you look at it like, okay, she's not. They think she's the one who's doing all the new murders and.
So much interesting stuff there to be mined or to do something with. Here's Jigsaw. Here's a Jigsaw groupie. And she literally, not only does that not have any resolution at all, she has no resolution at all.
Yeah, that's also weird. No, but okay. I was intrigued by the fact that she had this thing in there which makes her look like she's the new killer, but really she just can't be like, no, I have a museum.
She's a plot device. The only reason she's there is to throw you off the set.
Another red herring.
Yeah, which is too bad because it's like, no, this is kind of an interesting idea. Why don't you do more with it? But they didn't do anything with it.
But whatever. It was interesting to see all the traps. It's just that, like, you're right, because they had this interesting plot idea, this plot device. But then the actress, or the character that the actress plays it in a way that makes you go...
Is she the killer?
Right, because wouldn't she just be like, no, I just, you guys know I'm a fan of Jigsaw.
Right.
I've been building this up. And she'd say, because I want to sell tickets so people can look at it, or because I like to...
And that'd be kind of an interesting commentary
Or I get off on this shit, which they ask her, like, do you get off on this, honey?
Right.
But what if she's like, no, I like to have, like, sex with guys in my museum of... and that would be fine. But they make the character enough... not intriguing, but they leave it open for like, well, maybe she is. But if the character wasn't, which she's not supposed to be, she would not act like that.
And then I'll just put my college professor hat on for a second. Like, and that would be interesting on a metatextual level, because she could be like, oh, you just watch the Saw movies, you get off on the traps and the violence and like all that. She's that like, oh yeah, no, I get off on how fucking like torture porn, dude. Like it's so. I don't know. That would be kind of interesting too. But
right, and
again,
that's what it seemed like. But then they made her.
Jigsaw could be like, "No, bitch, I have a philosophy. This is serious shit.
Yeah,
I don't do just to get off on people, even though he so clearly does."
But the character would have been a little bit more upfront about the fact that this is just like, she really enjoys this kinky part.
Yeah.
But they make it look like she's so mysterious.
Right.
Which she wouldn't be, because they're like, hey, I think we think you murdered some people.
Yeah.
I'd just be mysterious about it. Like, no, you wouldn't be like, hey, wait, I didn't murder anybody,
So there's also like Dirty Harry Cop, and he's like cool fucking guy, shows up in his John Wick car and his like nice suit, and that was kind of funny. And he's also a red herring that you're supposed to think maybe he did it because he's a bad cop or something.
Any of the other movies ever have the like the trickery in it to think like who you think is the one doing the murdering, helping, or if they're all pretty much explicit, like you kind of knew?
It's weird. I'm never gonna rewatch these, but like, if I had not been watching for the first time, I'm not really thinking about it. But if I watched them again, I would be looking for that. I guess what I mean is, if I had seen like the first 3 or 4, and then I watched the 5th one after a while, then I could be like, I wonder who's the guy that's behind all this.
But I don't remember any of them like trying to trick the viewer. And
not really. It's not even trying to trick them, because the shit that they pull out of their ass is so out of left field every time they do it that you really don't have it. It's more just a fun, like, not like there's no way this will work. It's more just like, what fucking bullshit are they gonna do?
I just thought a lot of the end of the movies are always just like, you wave a magic wand and just go like, nope, this really But this one was very much, hey, who do you think it is?
Right.
And then I guess if you were to watch the movie again, any movie you watch again, you already know what's going to happen, but this one really kills the idea of trying to look, because they just explicitly like, hey, it was...
I was just really surprised that after 8 movies, and if this is like after 10 years, or however many years it's been.
7 years.
They want to like, kind of, not reboot, they should have just fucking rebooted
That's what I'm saying.
To be honest, like, it should have just been full on reboot. Then they could have brought back John Kramer if they wanted to. They could have done everything they want, and nobody would have given a shit. Like,
right.
Everybody would have been happy to do that. Like, do the same exact thing you did before, do it better, right? Now, if they're not going to do that and they're going to just continue,
but again,
like,
is that going to be the main character? That guy going to be the main? He held his own.
No, I mean it's diminishing returns, and the fact that it did okay, but like I can't imagine it did well enough for them to just be like, keep doing him every year.
Right, but I mean, like, is that main character...
No, he sucks.
He's not interesting enough to have another movie. Right.
He sucks. He sucks hard.
So then when you have another movie, you have to find another person to carry it on, and you have to find another convoluted-ass retcon reason for why they are,
But they could have done that if they had broken the formula.
Yeah.
This is what I know that sometimes the point is like, no, adhere to the formula, don't mess with the formula, but there's so many horror franchises that, like...
I mean, that's the only way you can be... To not just do this over time is to kind of like, inject something new in there and try to,
things like Friday the 13th, which I was listening to a podcast about today, and they go listen to the 80s all over, a great podcast where they go through the entire 80s. They just did Friday the 13th Part 2 is where I'm up to. So first Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees' mother Voorhees. Part 2, bag over the head.
Right.
Is it Part 3? Where he gets the hockey mask?
I always forget which one
3 or
it
4.
is.
It's an aesthetic thing, I guess, more than, but like still, look, it's changing, right?
Yeah.
And the things stick with it too. And even that stuff, it's like, well, the fucking psychics, like, why not? And like now he's a zombie,
Right.
Like
then there's like the soul transfers with the pooping through the mouth into the person's mouth.
Yeah.
And then in space.
I get that one of them is supernatural and one's not, but like just break the formula a little bit. Like, have dueling trap masters. I don't know. Do something a little different.
And this one was about, not only was the audience viewer like, hey, you know, is it this person? Is it that person? The movie itself is about, hey, I think it's that guy. And then the guy goes, don't you see? I'm being framed by that guy. You know, it's so just, like I said, if the first movie with the flashback was kind of like this, and each one's kind of like this one's just like, hey, I'm on the nose here. There was no, literally during the twist, he's like, the guy's explaining the twist, rather than having like the voiceover from Jigsaw and kind of showing it, and the person's supposed to be realizing it and whatever. This one is literally a guy telling another guy, while you were doing this, I was over here doing this. Yeah. And then when that happened, it was me doing this. And I'm just like, yeah, I already know that. But two, the way you're explaining it is not like the philosophical, like, did you learn your lesson? It was just a guy saying, here's how I pulled off all the shit that doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of learning lessons.
Exposition, you know.
The whole fucking point of this guy that's the new Jigsaw is to show John Kramer to not choose people as candidates for his games based on revenge or anger. And then
that shit got thrown out so
literally,
long.
I know, but literally, this fucking character kills the last character. The last kill is exactly that.
If we haven't seen by now,
the guy's like pleading with him. He's like, wait, Jigsaw gives people, it's supposed to be a game. I'm supposed to have I have a choice. And he literally says, you have a choice. You can choose to scream.
Or not scream.
Or not,
I mean, that started with Amanda back in the third movie, where it's like the apprentices kind of just didn't really get it.
Yeah, it was a bad idea having apprentices.
I think Cary Elway did. He like believed in the.
Yeah.
That's why whatever. But then again, they left Hoffman to just die at the end of 7, right? Just like close the door in the bathroom. I'm like, where's his chance to get out?
Yeah.
We talked about that a lot during the podcast. A lot of the rules just don't.
And who knows? Maybe in the next one, like Hoffman comes back, right? Like,
yeah.
That's the way these movies work.
So, the opening music during before the movie even starts is the famous like twist music, but like redone a little bit, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. See, that's where you do like an homage or a little like little fan service, but you don't put it in during an actual twist. You kind of just like, hey, you remember that music? But we're not going to just play it. Of course, later on they just like basically play it. Okay, so let's just. The guy who had the trigger, and they shoot him in the hand, and his hand, the CGI, his hand just like this.
By the way, because you mentioned that guy, when they're doing the big reveal and they show him with a fucking sniper rifle,
right?
The whole audience laughed.
Really?
Yeah, that was the bridge too far. That was everybody just like, get the fuck out of here.
But here's the thing: when that scene happened, they're like, okay, everybody aim at his hand, and then someone ends up shooting him in the chest. He's like, which one of you dipshits shot him in the chest, and they don't know. I was like, oh, there's someone off camera with a gun that did it.
Right.
And of course, that's exactly what happened. This movie was too predictable. It was way too like, when the twist comes, it's going to be that happened, and I called every one of them. Which, the whole point of Saw is like, you can't call them because the bullshit is so thick that you would never be able to know that this random weird thing happened. Lightning struck at the clock tower at 9:55 p.m. It was way too easy, which makes me wonder, the series has been gone for a while. Did they have to come back with something that's very audience friendly, less gore, easier to follow? I say that even though as convoluted as it is, it's still just, the exposition at the end is just very much like, here's what I did. No, I don't know what that's all about.
I think I don't know. I think what it needs to do and what I would want, people that like Saw are not interested in. Which is actually just giving this to, I mean, obviously they can't, the whole point of these is to have a low budget, but giving it to somebody that wants to make it their own, wants to do something different with it, and let them fucking break the formula and see what they do with it, because the formula is what's killing it.
I mean, I'll make a new Saw. Give me the money. I'll make a Saw movie.
I'll make a fucking better, I'll make a good Saw movie.
Because normally I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to, whatever. I'm like, I can make a Saw movie.
Fucking escape artist right now, right? It's just fucking
I know
Jigsaw versus escape artist. I still don't understand why we haven't done this yet.
Just make, I don't know where to sit here and like postulate on what good ideas a Saw movie would have, but I mean, even like the real life escape rooms. Make a real life escape room where it's not, it's people are dying. You know what I mean? Like,
do one where people are because
Like they pay money to go to escape room, and it turns out that someone rigged it. You know,
because it's another meta fun thing. Because like escape rooms became really popular after the Saw movies.
Right,
I imagine.
exactly.
So have people be like, oh, it's fun, and like, oh,
until someone's head just goes. You know?
Hey, here's
Copyright. I'm gonna send a letter to myself in the mail.
Here's $10 million. Go make a Saw movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be like, I don't know, I can hire cinematographers. I don't know how to shoot it, but I have a good idea. Can we stop with the characters going, help me, help me, help me, help me, and fuck you, lady. Like, stop with that
You're always
shit.
gonna have one guy like that.
I get it. If I woke up and I had a bucket on my head and a chain around my neck, my heart would I'd be really nervous. But don't stop with the freaking out and the yelling and the help. Like, that doesn't help.
Yeah.
And we always said, like, if this happened in real life, everyone in the fucking world would know about this guy, right? This is still like just the city they live in. It's local.
Yeah.
No, you know. Because if you woke up with the bucket in your head, you'd be like, oh shit, I'm a Saw victim.
Yeah, that's right.
But none of them seem to know that.
That's why I said in the podcast. Like, if any of this shit happened in real life, 9/11 wouldn't be. It's like, this would be like the most interesting fucking thing. Like, if people, dedicate their entire lives writing books about it.
So if you woke up and you were in some kind of thing, you would already immediately know, oh, this is a Saw thing. Yeah.
It just like defies all imagination.
Okay, so let's just really quickly go through it.
Just go through your notes, and I have a few things that I kind of liked about the movie.
5 people in a room, chains around the neck, buckets on the head, said spill some blood, you can get out. So the first one's like, the first lady's like, oh, just cut yourself and you're free. And then
they all get through that one.
It takes them a little while to...
Oh, no, they don't all get through all. One of them dies.
But he doesn't.
But he doesn't.
Yeah. But it's a lot of like one character trying to tell the other ones, here's how we'll survive, and them going like, shut up, and then whatever. They all go through. Then this one is one of you has been injected with a poison. There's 3 syringes. One doesn't kill. One will do nothing. One will save the person, and one will acid in the body. The person stole a purse and let someone die. So there was supposed to be a puzzle there where they were supposed to try to figure out which one it is, but it was just like, at this point, confess your sins, confess your sins.
Yeah.
You're in a room with other people, you're be like, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, who's like, did you do it? Did you do it?
Right.
It's like, why did they even, that was me.
They kind of eventually get to that point, but it would have been a lot more fun if, I guess, actually, this is interesting. So if this is a flashback, do they know who Jigsaw is? I can't even remember. Were they just like,
no.
They're like,
wait,
this is Jigsaw. No, they knew.
One of them.
At least one of them knew.
Yeah.
So this couldn't have been the first game. He must have been doing it for a little while.
Yeah, maybe be a plot hole there because she says that one machine was like, oh, it was never used maybe, and it was the first time, and the circular blade one, she mentions how like they never found this one, so it must have been the first one he ever did or something like that. Whatever.
Anyway, my point is that if Jigsaw was like a known thing, they would have just been like, I did this! I fucking did this! I didn't,
But again, when you're 5 people in a room and you're all fucked up, like, you have to work together to survive.
Yeah.
And a lot of good movies, like zombie movies, are really about how humanity, if you guys just did this, you guys would survive the zombie apocalypse, but everyone's always fighting.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't work out. That's good social commentary. Here it's like, what else are you going to do? Why are you going to keep yelling at each other and cussing at each other?
Yeah.
You need, like, I need to help you and you need to help me. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, yes, let's get out of here alive together,
They've never come up with, because if you like want them to, you want to see them work together. You want to see them try.
Yeah.
And
they never do.
And then I understand that you don't want the people to die by virtue of just like, oh shit, I wasn't fast enough, or I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's where you have to be a little clever. You have to say, like, what human thing would somebody do, either distrust or fear or something like that causes them to fuck up. But then you at least kind of feel bad when they die, because you wanted to see them working together. You liked the synergy.
I mean, since the beginning, you want to see the people try to outsmart the puzzle. Right. And it's never the case. It's always just, like, bickering and shit.
Right.
So here it's like they immediately turn to the girl, and she's like, oh, she's the only one not talking. She's the purse snatcher. He says, how much is a life worth? And one of the syringes has $3.53. She's like, oh, $3.53. You know that's the right syringe. You know you need to give it to her. She's like, I don't want to choose.
Yeah.
At this point, you're like,
Right, yeah.
Why didn't they just do... So then they're all hanging and they're going to die.
Or at least if you're the guy that's like, fuck you, we're going to do this. Why doesn't he just stab her with the one that she said that was the number?
That's what I'm saying.
Why is he going to stab her all fucking 3?
Well, because of course she doesn't want to do it. They won't choose. He won't do it. And next thing you know, they're all hanging from their necks, and he ends up having to like try to get her. And she's still fighting it off.
Yeah.
If you fight it off, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you at least accept the chance of living? You know? Oh God, make my nose itchy. I hate this.
These are actually pretty soft traps too, because like usually the fucked up ones are the ones that are like, cut your arm off.
Yeah.
Hey, Hey, just pull your own eyeball out of your head.
Yeah. What's the next? So there's 3 left. The guy goes to the door that says no exit. Of course, he tries to go through that one. The floor breaks. His leg gets caught in strings.
If he hadn't done that, what would have been the alternative?
I don't know.
We never find out.
That's a lot of what some of the bullshit in the stories are like.
No, they go into the other room and then it's the motorcycle. That's what
Yeah.
it is. So that's what they would have done.
The grain silo didn't need to be there.
I didn't even understand what his trap, what he was even supposed to do.
It wasn't a trap. He just didn't follow the rules.
What was the fucking rule?
Don't go to the door. Don't try to break your way
I'm
up.
talking about the motor. I get my jumping ahead with the motorcycle thing.
No, that was
motorcycle
his.
The motorcycle.
He was supposed to reach down and grab the brake
You just
handle.
didn't do a good enough job.
I guess not.
See, that's not even like a.
And then she broke the rules by trying to throw
Right.
a piece of rebar into the
Which
motorcycle wheel.
I was like, finally, this is kind of what I want to see. Oh, that didn't work.
I mean, you have to follow the rules because if you don't, you lose. So I
guess.
I want to see them not outsmart him and break the rules. I want to see them solve the puzzles properly, or at least work together to
But
do
that's
it.
what I'm saying. It's not a fucking puzzle. It's just like be still enough and reach far enough to get the lever.
And I was like, is he supposed to reach down and then it's going to lift him back up and then put it in the
I
bike?
did not get it.
Or does he just have to touch it? It's a spinning spiral. All he had to do was just go like, one hand,
Right.
don't move,
Yeah.
and he, ow, then gets cut up. I don't know. And then the last one is 2 people chained, and there's a shotgun with 1 shell in it. And he goes, this is your key. And I was like, it's pretty obvious there's a key inside the shotgun shell. He's never... I mean, he breaks his own rules, but it's not like she goes, I have to kill you to get out. He never said that.
This is my point is that they could have, I feel like this is the first time that these people could have gotten through the entire thing, technically, if they'd done exactly what they were supposed to do.
Right.
And not be horribly defaced or harmed.
I don't know, because that one with the leg, like you said, I don't even know what the
But that
trap
was
was
because
there.
he went the wrong way. If he
Right,
hadn't
but
gone
what
the wrong-
hadn't, what would it have done?
They would have ended up in the other room with the motorcycle.
That door was closed. There would have been some other trap
this
in that
is
room.
bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
It relied on him breaking
do
the
the wrong
rule.
thing.
Yeah.
Fuck you, movie.
Which then also had to...
Fuck you, Jigsaw.
He had to reach down to get the tape, but if he had done that, it would have got the other guy's hand stuck in it.
Jigsaw's a fucking ass. I've said this in the podcast, I still say. He's just this guy that's like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Technically, I'm not touching you right now.
He literally says, he's like, don't do this to us. He's like, I'm not doing anything to you. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you drugged me, tied me, chained me up to a wall.
Yeah.
You did do that. You can't say that you didn't do anything.
I did like the neck chains. I was kind of hoping that was going to be like the whole movie. That they were going to just be attached to these things, and I'm like,
as they go through all
how is
of
this going to like drag them? Like, that was my thing, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like, and this will be, and I liked how she got around the pillar and was like trying to, and then he's like, oh, wow, somebody will probably try this shit, so he put some barbed wire around it, but then they abandoned it because of budget, right? There's no way they were going to keep that up forever, but that would have been unique.
And then of course, so there's a shotgun shell, 1 shell, 2 people. She somehow says, I have to kill the other guy to get out of here, which is not what was supposed to be the case. I thought, oh, you're supposed to shoot yourself in the foot, maybe blow your foot off. She goes to shoot him. The shotgun shell explodes back in her face.
Yeah.
So she didn't learn her lesson. But the keys were in the shotgun shell. The keys both got mangled.
Well,
so
he
now,
told them.
Huh?
He told
I
them.
know that.
He said, here's the key.
But even I was like,
your
the keys are in there or something, right? But it's not fair because she made a decision that ended up killing the other guy.
Yeah.
What chance did he have?
Yeah.
He didn't get it.
Well, you can never fucking tell with him.
Right.
Like, you think you're following the rules by doing, like, the fucking kill or be killed thing.
Right.
Or is he being super vague fucking mystery guy, and you're it's like a riddle, and you're like, well, what does he mean by that when he says
She mentions, like, your thumb's on the scale of evil and good, and then he put the shotgun on 2 hooks.
I kept thinking almost looks like it was going to go like Indiana Jones style.
Because she even says, like, oh, the scales. I'm thinking, oh, you have to, like, pick one. No.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know what
Right.
Jesus Christ. Fuck John Kramer.
You know who's better than John Kramer? I forget his name. But Hans Gruber's brother in Die Hard 3. Now that's a good Jigsaw. That's a good Jigsaw.
Yeah. I like Die Hard 3. So I can't even remember what the medical examiner's guy's name was. So did he lie about
generic white guy? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Did he lie about being tortured in Afghanistan or Iraq? Because those scars didn't come from that. They came from Jigsaw.
No. Why would he have to? No. Why can't that have happened to him?
Okay. But the scars on his back. Okay, so yeah, he was tortured, and then
It's just that had nothing to do with the movie and never comes up or is a part, important.
But then
to the
you
film
see
at all.
you see the scars on his back, but that's actually from the test room where John Kramer decides, hey, I don't want this guy to die,
Right.
which is completely out of character. I guess I don't know because
No,
he was passed out, and he just like dragged him and almost.
No, he like changes his mind. This is because it's early days for Jigsaw.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point. He realized he says like because the only reason he was killing this motherfucker is because he accidentally,
Yeah.
which is
He didn't help. He screwed up his cancer diagnosis before, like they could have caught it, and he put the wrong name on the chart.
yeah. Which I'm gonna say is like it's not that much more of a stretch than some of the shit these other like. Oh, you were looking at your
You
phone.
picked the wrong milk at the grocery store. You deserve to fucking die.
Right. Yeah.
Do you really want to live?
Right.
Now you have to drink 10 gallons of 2% right now.
You better pay attention.
Didn't you hear me when I told you that one line of dialogue in the beginning of the movie?
You see, really, because if you're not 100% focused at your job, then
Yeah.
see it's your fault.
Yeah, so no one
Let me
survives.
teach you how to make death traps.
Yeah. And then he breaks down crying. Oh, God. All right.
Lasers. Hey, another time that the
Oh,
audience
the
laughed.
laser thing made me
another
laugh.
time the audience laughed was when they're in the morgue thing or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we need to get this helmet off this person." Let me just pull out my fucking
Portable
Star Trek laser. I'm like, wait, this is only 10 years, right? Like, this isn't like. Is this Jigsaw 2080? What's going on
10 years
right now?
ago, they were still using VCRs and cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And now they have laser scalpels.
This is Jigsaw 2049. Oh, that's what you do. Just jump all the way into the future. Just like way fucking future.
You got to go to space. Usually around
Yeah.
the 10th movies when you go to
Yeah,
space,
Jigsaw in
right?
space.
Yeah.
I would say Jigsaw in the Hood, but that's like kind of like the series is out already.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a heroin addict? Fuck you. Get out of my death trap.
You were framed by a police officer? What a terrible person you are.
Right. All right. Right? But seriously, though, those don't exist, right? That's not a real thing.
No.
Okay.
I mean, lasers exist and they can do stuff, but not those.
Yeah. I'm like, how do they let anybody have these?
I kind of went back to, okay, help me out here. The guy with the bucket on his head they find, who's not the guy you see in the bucket in the head, which you're supposed to, whatever. His head was cut off
I don't even.
with
it
a
didn't make
saw.
sense. Yeah.
Where's the rest of his head?
Inside the helmet when they pulled it off.
I was hoping that's
Stuck
what it
in
would
there.
be. It'd have been like,
That's what I'm gonna say.
there is so much sexual tension between those two, the medical
Right?
examiner.
Why didn't they just?
And I don't know if they wanted you to be like, yeah, get together.
Right.
Or he must be.
They didn't even have like it wasn't even like he was divorced or something.
But then I'm not sure. Were they already like kind of dating?
they
or
didn't even like they were kind of insinuated, but not.
Yeah.
Like they just go get drinks together. Because the guy's like, well, I'm a professional. What?
I know how to find you at a bar.
She's a hot piece of ass. Like, well, I'm a professional. Doesn't think about those
Yeah.
things. Like you're
yeah.
you're single. Like
And they make it seem like there's something, you
right.
know, but
yeah, nothing. Just
I mean,
because.
they did a good job of selling sexual tension between the two.
Yeah. But sexual tension's never been a part of the franchise.
But I
at
also
all.
wasn't sure if they'd already been boning.
It's an insanely sexless franchise.
Yeah.
Right? For all the S&M in it, like
Yeah, there is some of that though.
like
yeah.
just completely sexless.
Well, let's not forget the rapist guy in the fourth one.
No, but I mean I
know.
mean like titillating. Nothing in this unless you're a fucking sicko.
Well, that's what it is, right? That's
right.
the all the titillating stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I wanted to see them get it on because I was just like, you guys like each other, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
But that wouldn't fit in this franchise.
Yeah, I
you
don't
would
know.
want to see that. You want to see some sexual tension chemistry
Right.
between the two characters, but that's not what Saw is. So
She's attractive. They do a good job of making her a desirable female.
good job for being born with
No,
good
I mean,
looks.
I think they did that was the one thing where, like I said, this actually worked, where the sexual tension between the two, or just making her seem like a very, like, she's kind of, fucked up, but she's all about those, like, she's like, oh yeah, the fucking Jigsaw traps, right? That's fine. She gets off on weird stuff.
Yeah.
But they do a good job of her selling that sexuality.
Yeah. Agreed, but they just don't do anything with it.
So you just look at her as like the medical examiner, like, oh, she's cute.
Yeah.
But when they make her more sexy,
Yeah.
I believe it. Like, she's really good at doing that. So I wanted to see that go. Not like I just want to see porno with her in it.
Right.
But I wanted to see that pay off, and it doesn't at all.
Yeah, no, they don't do anything with it.
I wanted to see the cum shot.
But they don't do anything with anything.
There is no like, because most of the movies have like at least there's one part where there's like there is that
Right, you would think, especially in a horror film, but
this one never really has any good like relief.
right, but I'm telling you that doesn't exist in the whole series.
Right.
I
think each one of them has not sexually, meaning there's the God, what's the word I'm thinking of?
You mean like the icebergs blowing at people's heads and stuff?
Yeah, there's.
Well, that's what the laser thing was.
I say glory shot. That's not a word.
That's what the lasers were.
But it wasn't.
Fine, but that's what it was trying to be.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. We've talked about the movie enough, don't you think?
I was thinking of the guy from Office Space.
Yeah.
There's none of that. And then of course the detective, he's bad. And then they're both in the trap at the end, so you think the girl actually is the one doing it, but really it's just the guy. And here's where I have the questions because I don't quite know.
This is the questions for the audience to leave in the
help us out
comment
here.
section, I guess.
So he's actually in on it the whole time, the medical examiner. He's just doing this all to get back at the detective who...
Oh, I don't even remember.
Frames innocent people, lets, like, bad guys go free, but at the same time then he says they were your informants, so that actually does happen.
Yeah.
You use the informant to catch the worst guys.
You protected your informant. Well, yeah.
But then the informant, I guess, is the guy who killed this guy's wife, so he has a grudge.
Yeah.
He sees all the children come in on the table for autopsies that the informants are killing or something, whatever.
Right.
But then he says, okay, then they're both in a trap with lasers. And he's like, oh, it's going to start in a minute. And, there's buttons on the table, and he's like, I'll go first. The bad guy is like, the detective, God, they're both bad guys. One's a piece of shit, one's the actual bad guy.
Right.
The detective goes, I'll go first, and then he hits the button for the other guy. Oh, what a piece of shit he is, right?
That's where he lost the game.
But he didn't say, like, if one of you dies, the other one goes free. He's like, but I win, whatever.
Right.
And
so if he hadn't pressed that button, would he have been given an opportunity to not die?
No.
Right. So...
Regardless, though. He has the lasers, which are actually just LEDs, and he pretends to die with the blood packs.
Right.
And then the other guy, he confessed to taking bribes and shit. And then he goes, oh, I got it all on tape because I'm not really dead.
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Because he kills him anyways.
Right.
He made him confess, had the evidence to, arrest him and put him away, but then doesn't...
That's true.
Why did you need it? You're going to kill him anyways. You didn't need the evidence to...
Just so justice could be served for the people?
Who's the evidence? Who's the recording for? And then he goes, oh, I won't get caught because the girl is my alibi. And she's out running around flagging down the other detective that's coming for them. And I'm like, what's the alibi?
So who's Jigsaw supposed to be?
Is she gonna...
If she is an alibi, then who is Jigsaw supposed to be? He just got away?
Right, yeah. Is she supposed to come back and go, it wasn't me?
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to pin it. You're supposed to frame up the internal affairs guy.
Right, that guy, yeah.
And then,
But
so you can keep operating.
I'm led to believe that she's going to think that they all got wrapped up in... So wait, first of all.
So wait, whose refrigerator with the Jigsaw pieces in, the skin pieces?
The bad detective.
That was
they are framing him up. But then they kill him in a Jigsaw trap, which means anyone who's investigating this is going to go, well, he's not Jigsaw.
Why did he Jigsaw him? Congratulations, you Jigsawed yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah. That makes no sense. And so I'm thinking that, okay, she's going to say...
I thought they were trying to frame her. That's the only thing that actually makes sense, because she's got all the fucking traps.
And she's the red herring that leads to it, but then she's going to come out and go, no, it wasn't really me. We all got caught up by this mysterious Jigsaw who, he's dead. Even though we exhumed his body, the body's...
If you're the new Jigsaw guy, if you're a medical examiner white guy, dude, why aren't you... She's your frame.
Right.
Kill the cop, fine, sure, get your revenge. But she's your frame. She's the one that's got all the fucking traps. She's the Jigsaw,
and then I'm like,
crazy person.
Is he bringing her in by the end? Is she going to be also, because she gets off on this stuff?
That would have been interesting, but
she's like,
I didn't do anything with it.
But then she's like, I found the farm where it's going on.
How cool would it have been for him to maybe assume that she would be interested in it and try to
Right.
bring her in on it, and then she can be like, "No, man, this is just a kink. What the fuck?" And then
Right.
like he's wrong, and then she like
And he throws
gets
her
him.
in a trap.
Sure.
And then she.
I just want to see the Jigsaw killers get. They always win. Fuck these movies.
But again, it goes. At the end of the day, the plot here from the outside perspective of like another person who's in that movie is going to say, okay, we think John Kramer's dead. All these traps are making it look like he's not dead. And then a bunch of new people died and one of them got away, and she's going to say that the people that we thought were not the real Jigsaw, but were reenacting Jigsaw, are not really them. So the real dead Jigsaw is alive somewhere? Like, what the fuck?
Here's what would have been better. If we have future laser cutters, okay,
Yeah.
or if we jump further into the future, Saw franchise people. Just so you understand, I guess maybe your audience, or at least part of your audience. If you had just fucking just said like, yeah, like we took John Kramer's consciousness and we downloaded here into the computer, and now he's a computer virus jumping around and doing things like a robot. Can I tell you something? I would have been completely on board with it.
When they first show him, which is like the 10 years ago before he died,
Yeah.
I was like, well, he mentioned a nephew. Maybe his brother looks just like him,
Yeah.
and he's continuing the legacy. Or somehow his brain is in his brother's body, and that would have been more...
Any like just stupid bullshit like that would have been better.
Because it literally just came down to, no, it's just copycat. Or not even a copycat, it's one of his apprentices.
But this is like this like think that they're being like this honor that these, because I hear people, I see it on the internet on message boards and shit, like they go like, oh, but it's a more realistic horror franchise. That's like that's literally the word they use, because it's not supernatural or
Right.
whatever. It's like, fuck your shit. All right, like this is this series is supernatural. Okay, just roll with it. Okay, just fucking roll with it. Either zombie Kramer or digital robot Kramer. Okay, like they did that shit in like Captain. I don't know if you watch the Captain America movies. That's what they did. They took the guy with the glasses that was in the mist, Zola or whatever his name was. And then, like, in the second one, he's like, now I'm in a computer, and I'm going to shoot all the missiles at you.
Yeah.
And nobody even fucking blinks, because it's like, it's a comic book. Who cares, you know? But that was fine.
I'm trying to remember his name from The Mist.
I don't remember, but he was like the
The
bad boy.
yeah.
With there was a,
Alright.
pistol shooter. Let's watch The Mist.
It's all at a pig farm. The pig farm was owned by his wife, and the wife, it was in the wife's family, and then there was a thing in a pig farm. Because there was pig guts in the other one.
Yeah. I don't know. Pig masks, see? But the pig mask came because it was the year of the pig. The Chinese parade is where we got the idea for the, we never got an origin for the puppet, ever. How have we not done this yet? 8 movies. Where's, like, the puppet origin?
He was at a mannequin factory in the first one. I don't know. There's some really good music at the end of the movie there. During the credits, it took me a minute as I was like texting my notes, or I was like writing some notes before I got out of the theater, so the credits were rolling, and I'm like, I have to... Fucking metal as fuck.
My parents don't understand me.
That's the Saw movies in a nutshell. Do 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 do. Like, again,
Careful,
subtle.
we're going to get more comments.
I know. Subtlety and gore and exploding heads are cool. It can be fun. The second you throw edgelord metal onto it, it becomes like you're trying too hard. I don't know. I've always enjoyed things that are really good juxtapositions, like have someone's head being exploded while classical music's playing.
Yeah.
Put the
Sure.
things that go together. But when you try to make it hardcore, you're just, oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the 80s anymore. It's not like, oh, I've never seen that before. I've seen heads explode. I live in America. I watch movies. I've seen heads explode.
So, Jigsaw is playing. You couldn't go see it. You can go see that if, hey, nothing's going to stop you to go see Saw 8.
I would imagine you've already seen it if you're watching this, or you're never going to see it because you don't care.
But if you're thinking about going to see a horror movie because it's still kind of Halloween or whatever, I saw Happy Death Day a few weeks ago, and that was pretty good.
I would say go see it if you've seen all the other movies, but...
No, don't just go see this.
Okay.
There's better horror. Literally, there is one other better horror movie playing.
There are movies that exist, and the Saw movies are not great movies. And they can be entertaining, but they're not even good as in a guilty pleasure kind of way where I might say like, oh yeah, that movie's not very good, but I like it. These are not good movies. They have a little bit of entertaining value to them, but they're more of an art piece. Like I watched it and just go like, really? Really?
Yeah.
This one
It's ho-hum.
is bad even in the Saw Saw art house because it's just kind of like, you didn't do anything, and then the things you did do were so tame.
Yeah.
And then your reveal was very. Again, I go back to the one,
Especially for like the big return. It was.
That's what I'm saying. And then I go back to I think it was like the sixth one where I said like the twist at the end where the wrap up montage was insulting to me as a viewer. It's like, hey, do you even remember the movie you just watched?
Yeah.
Did you forget everything you just saw? This one doesn't do anything where it's like, hey, here's the second camera angle. It was just again the guy going, that was me.
Yeah.
I did this thing.
Yeah.
Did you know I did that? You know, yeah, I know you did it. Obviously, you just told me you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't care how you did it. I already know you're the bad guy. You know, so yeah, it's bad filmmaking from a plot-wise because the idea of the two stories going side by side and going, oh, this one was actually 10 years ago, but I recreated it in the present. But other movies have already done this, where you're watching it on a videotape. I get it.
Yeah. All right. I don't think I have anything more to say.
No, it's not it's a functional movie. It's not terrible, but it's not worthy of even being in a bad franchise of movies. I guess I don't know.
For the actual Serious Saw fans, people seem to really like 6 and people like the first 3, and so this is probably somewhere in there with 4 and 7.
That's what, yeah, I guess like if you actually like Saw, like you really enjoy it, and you think they're two people here. People who enjoy it but know they're dumb. I would say this one's disappointing. People who enjoy it and think that they're good horror movies
Will also be disappointed and think this is like an average entry.
This is bad at both of those things too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually not like the best in any situation.
If it was its own movie and there wasn't this history along with it, it would just be like, oh, there's a B. I think would it classify as B or just low budget horror movie?
You mean just in general?
It would just be a not good horror B movie, B horror movie. It would have come out and been like, meh.
Yeah.
But because it has the name attached to it, it got more fanfare.
Right.
But it's not even good on its own.
Yeah, this is like way dated.
The only thing that make it even a little bit worth it is the Saw name.
Right.
The actual movie is just meh.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
that's what I'm trying to get across is the movie itself, plot-wise and written-wise. I don't want to say the directing was bad, but even the
some of the stuff was okay.
cinematography was pretty crap though.
No, it was. It wasn't. It didn't look good. But I mean, whatever. It was a Saw movie. It was directed fine.
That's it.
All right. Hey.
Jigsaw 2017. Don't go see it.
Are you gonna see the next one though?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, me too. Motherfuck you.
You get invested in something and you watch it out of.
Is this just the beginning? Are we gonna come in 15 years? You're gonna be like, I used to hate the Saw movies.
If you saw a dead body on the side of the road, would you stop and like,
Yeah.
whoa, look at that, right? It's morbid curiosity. It's the Stand By Me. You want to go see a dead body?
Yeah.
Well, no, but yeah.
Carrie Elways, bring it back. Do it.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's gonna be it for tonight. Yeah.
All right.
Alpha Rookie says goodnight.